Joining us in the studio is an entertainment lawyer, Akinyemi Anyoluwa. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to have you join us.
Yeah, my pleasure. This is my first time here, so
And we're so glad. We're so glad to have you.
I look forward to enjoying myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
You're
so
welcome.
Falz says it is actually ridiculous for NBC to ban the song since it's just a socially conscious piece of art that addresses the current issues in Nigeria.
Yeah, the way I like to approach this is to look at it as every time you drive into work and the papers are held to your faces and you're commuting and you're seeing the Nigerian story for the day, you're experiencing the reality of what's going on around you. Now, if we interpolate that and we try to remake it into drama piece, singing, communicating via all manner of art platforms, should we feel a certain way that somebody is communicating the reality of what's going on in Nigeria? Because even as it is, he hasn't said anything new. Every other day you hold up a newspaper, you get to read opinions of people expressing same views. So if the NBC is saying this is vulgar, then maybe we can also apply same to a lot of communication in the media, on social media, and in front of the pages of newspapers, because every now and then, everything Falz has touched on, with the Chibok girls, with the police brutality, kidnapping, the drug problem with the young people in Nigeria. All those were the things captured in the music, and I'm actually shocked to feel that social commentary by musicians is being discouraged in this manner.
All right, now let's look a little further as to the impact of music, video on the society on one hand, because you might stand in the public place and say anything, you wouldn't be as impactful as putting it in the music video, as the case may be, depending on how you feed it in. Now, the line that NBC is complaining of, especially, the peak of it is everybody be criminal.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at it as someone who is in maybe London or South Africa or Kenya listens to that song and says everybody in Nigeria is a criminal.
What message do they take away?
What's the message?
For me, I always think anytime you have the opportunity to express your thoughts on a platform, as far as nobody should guide you on how to say what you've said, but I believe there is a responsibility on you to be careful too, so that what you're portraying or projecting to the public is not so offensive to a certain level that it could cause chaos. But taking it to this particular issue, I believe the way it has been expressed, the way it is being used, it isn't very literally, it isn't a completely blanket statement. Because when you use such words, clearly, when you say a particular sect of people are racist or they are quick to destroy or they are prone to act in a way that is terroristic. When you say such blanket statements, it cannot be taken in just one context. It has to be filtered, because when you say everybody be criminal, we all know not all Nigerians are criminals. Maybe a larger proportion of the people that are being displayed on the media, or maybe in certain places like in the political class, maybe they can fit to that description.
But you do understand that Nigeria already faces a perception problem in the global community.
I know that.
And
but
so
again, this work is
an
a commentary on that.
When an artistic work confirms that,
but again,
does it not further jeopardize the chances of hardworking Nigerians, good Nigerians, decent Nigerians who actually make up the majority of the population?
In your opinion, is this song telling you stories, the Nigerian story of what we're experiencing in 2018?
Well, according to Muri,
we can't
let me bring this forward. The Muslim rights group says that the argument is that the song should have been more balanced, and that when you have ladies in hijab, who ordinarily we all know are in a very, very precarious situation right now in the captivity of Boko Haram, when you show them dancing, looking like they're actually happy.
I believe Falz was playing
Is that poetic license carried too far?
No, it isn't. It wasn't carried too far. I think it is symbolism. Okay. I think it tells you a situation where things are not going right, but we seem to be having fun. we seem to be
Suffering and
parting.
smiling kind of thing?
I think that is what was captured in that song. You know, the house is on fire, but we're still playing as if everything is nice and cool. I believe that is symbolism at play. It shouldn't be taken stricto sensus to mean some girls are in captivity and dancing. That cannot be a reality. That is not a possibility. What is the reality is that everything is in chaos, and if we still carry on as if Nigeria is okay.
Like Asha will put it, there's fire on the mountain.
And
And,
you know, people still sleep.
You know,
when
and
the
no
roof
one
is
is on the
fire.
run.
Yes.
Okay, but let's come back to the issue of the law now. The NBC on one hand always look out there for any of those violation of the codes. But those who are making the content, the artists or even
They're very
movies
quick
and
to
all of
disseminate
that,
that.
do they really understand what these codes are? When we talk about, okay, this thing is going on air, it's supposed to be on TV or supposed to be on radio, and these are the codes. Do they understand what the code should be?
I don't think many of them are that sophisticated to really give, to give some thoughts to how they should portray their messages. But again, I think when we look at creativity or innovation, you can't really be subjected to regiments, because you are actually trying to define civilization. You're trying to create a better future, because every phase of civilization started with a new thinking. People were thinking of it could be better, it could be expressed in a certain way. Imagine if Mark Zuckerberg had to submit his idea of Facebook to higher authority for vetting. I don't think creators or creative industry practitioners should be subjected to being censored in a particular manner, that before you say this, you have to be very careful, you shouldn't rock the boat, or social norms should be considered from the prism of political leanings or religious inclinations.
In other words, chances are that when you put some kind of legal limit to artistic expression,
then
you may be stifling
suppress it.
creativity
Yes.
and what have you. But then again, to what extent really should the freedom of expression that is guaranteed by the Constitution, how far should it go?
I believe there has to be a balance.
Okay.
You can't just go on a frolic of your own and think you have all the freedom in the world. In fact, no freedom is perfect. No freedom is limitless. I believe freedom, for us to enjoy our freedom, there has to be some limits to that. So you can't just go on a frolic of your own and actually ambush other people or a particular community. But in this case, I don't think anything of that nature was done. I'm an advocate for the creative industry, and I think at every time we should always push the culture, always engage with the community, cause new conversations, and I'm happy Falz was able to record a lot of success with this piece of work, because imagine if Fela was alive at this time and he was involved in all kinds of social commentary. I don't even think Falz has done anything close to what Fela was able to do back in the day.
Well, Fela had a lot of brushes with the law.
Yes, I believe anybody stepping
but,
into this arena should be ready for whatever, which is why we're talking about this.
All right, let's look at the issue of resolution and understanding when it comes to, okay, a song is out there, for instance, and NBC made up them. In fact, the radio station has been fined for this already and all of that. Now, at the point where a song is out, it is going to be banned. Is there any forum where the NBC and this artist or these artists, depending on whoever is involved, get to sit down and say, this song shouldn't be like this, or this song shouldn't be like? Is there any engagement point between the two sides?
I'm not aware of any.
Should there even be?
Or should there be? That's even what I'm trying to say.
Should there be? I think what we should do more should be, maybe in the National Orientation Agency, should be more proactive to try to be in front of the conversation and try to define what the conversation should be about Nigeria. I'm even shocked that people can just take a line of, everybody be criminal and try to use that as an opportunity to try to censor the artist. I don't think the statement is that, I don't think...
weighty?
I don't think it is that, it
offensive?
Encapsulates everything about the song. Okay. I just think it should be just one of those other things that might be considered. But
And then again, when you
I'm
bear in
thinking-
mind too, sorry to cut in because we still have to treat other issues. The fact that this song, This Is Nigeria, is actually a cover done by Childish Gambino, the American artist. And This Is America, and it was a rave of the moment and all of that. You didn't have this kind of reaction
Opera.
from any authorities. Does it in itself...
Yeah, because I believe America
is
is
it
the
an
bastion
expression of
of
the difference between a place like the United States of America
Yes,
and Nigeria?
I believe America is a bastion of, democracy. It tells you, it's a testimony to the fact that freedom is encouraged. Ideas can always come to the market square to dance and to, initiate a conversation. Because you can imagine that a lot of even these alternative rights groups have the right to, still come together, try to protest, try to amplify their ideas. And that is the beauty of democracy. We don't all have to agree, although we have to see how we can dialogue continually.
And meet each other halfway.
Yes. So I think that it
All
tells
right.
a difference.
In comparing America and Nigeria, we have a lot of things in common, but also we have so much differences in so many things, especially when you're talking about liberty, freedom, expression,
And values.
and all of that. The American system is quite different. If you come back home here to Nigeria, where we are in Africa, the concept of culture is there, is a strong phenomenon. The concept of religion is there, is a strong phenomenon, and all of those. So certainly we see that all of those should guide the way we interact and all of that. So would you advocate that maybe producers of content on air for African content, for instance, should have idea of some of these codes sometimes before they even go into, so that they know how to balance?
Well, then again,
what
should there
they're
be
coming up
anything like African content, American content?
Yeah, I think so.
British
No, there should be.
content?
There should be,
Because
because
we
that is
don't
what
all
defines.
speak. We agree
That's
on
what
that.
defines your identity.
I believe
Yeah.
that.
And identity, like Charles Okocha would put it.
Yeah, the thing is, I believe, every country is influenced by what is around them. And all these players, all these creative entrepreneurs and practitioners and creators in all of those communities, they speak to what is around them because they live in those communities, they understand the raving topics, social topics that need coverage. They know how to interact with all of that. So what I'm thinking is, for you to even succeed in any marketplace, you need to understand what your community is like. You need to understand your people. You need to understand
What
your
they want.
audience. And you need to understand what you're trying to achieve, or what you're creating, what you're producing, and what you're distributing.
But then again, should poetic license or artistry or artistic expression go beyond pointing out what the problems are and providing maybe solutions?
Well, yes.
Is that something that we should begin to demand of our
Although
artists?
we can't tell them expressly
How far they can,
We can't really tell them if you only criticize, you should as well give solutions and all of that. All over the world, Nigerian creative professionals, the likes of Professor Wole Soyinka and his contemporaries and the new generation of writers and journalists, they've been able to, contribute to the civilization globally, to the discussion on how to, express yourself, tell African stories, communicate with the people, cause people to move. Because really, Falz belongs to a new generation where the young people are looking for an avenue to be part of the conversation, to be part of nation building, to be part of citizen participation in politics. And I think he's done quite a lot of good for the young generation because he can communicate better. Most of these young people don't even have faith in the political actors of today. And this is an opportunity to just understand what's going on around us. Even all this talk we're having also helps to amplify what This Is Nigeria is about. And a lot of people will actually go back to check.
To find out for themselves and make up their
All right.
minds.
When we talk about this banning of songs one way or the other, the ban on songs and videos, especially in the Nigerian context, takes care of the terrestrial broadcast. These songs are still on the cable.
And I
it's
love
still
that.
on YouTube.
I love that.
So when we have the issue of a song being banned, what impact is really having when it is already out there?
The thing is, although it looks like I'm really, really in favor of the Falz situation, there could be times where some creators go overboard and could actually be very, very destructive to the Nigerian identity. Yeah. So I'm thinking,
Like when an artist uses his music to propagate drug addiction,
yes,
you know, drugs
sex,
and all of that. Yeah.
Obscenities of that nature.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that even all these digital platforms still have a way to regulate. In as much as we think there is enough latitude to distribute your content, even if there is enough justification to bring down such content and to, you know, maybe even take the talent to the courts to see how you can also get judgments or to see how you can deal with them in the proper, at the place of the judiciary. We know there are consequences for all of this.
Now, speaking of the law, I mean, you're a lawyer. What are the options? You're an entertainment lawyer for that matter. What are the options before Falz, for example?
Yeah, I'm happy he's also a learned colleague of mine.
Actually, yes.
So, and he's also the son of
a
legal giant. So I know he's sophisticated enough to take this to the proper quarters. You know, the NBC is an administrative body, an extension of the federal government, and it's an agency that regulates the content that go on our broadcast stations and our airspace. So I think he can seek the interpretation of the courts or the protection of the courts to define what vulgar is in this sense. So it's not a blanket statement. It can be totally shut down to stop him from expressing himself as prescribed under the Constitution, and he can go for judicial review to call the NBC to come and, you know, present their case. He can present his case, and there can be a resolution before the courts.
Okay.
Right.
All right. We look forward to days of understanding between all of this, because at the end of the day, it's for the good of the society. That's what it's supposed to be.
And for the good of the art.
Yeah. Akinyemi Ayunlua, thank you so much. You're an entertainment lawyer. Thanks for coming on the program and giving us insight into this.
Thank you.
Right.